Welcome back. You're still tuned into Trading Hour. It's time to talk about the retail real estate sector. A recent report from Nuvama says they believe consumption is a long-term structural growth story in India, and India is emerging as a hotspot for global retailers. And of course, we have the festive season coming up as well, with Navratri starting from Thursday itself. To discuss this and more, Pushpa Bector, Senior Executive Director and Business Head at DLF Retail, and Nishank Joshi, Chief Marketing Officer at Nexus Select Trust, is joining us now. Pushpa and Nishank, thank you so much for joining us today. And, I wanted to understand how Q2 has been in terms of footfalls, and with the festive season coming up, entire October will be about festivals, some of November as well, and December. So what are the footfalls looking like going forward? Have you already started seeing some surge here? Nishank, let me start with you. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Because we are listed, we can only talk about Q1. So we ended Q1 at 8%, and we've got a positive trend since then. So the numbers, both of footfalls and sales, have improved since then. So we are on an upward trend. We ended with the Apple products going live, and therefore we've got a good numbers getting into the festive season. As we get into the festive seasons, we've got our decors in place, we've got our ideas in place, we've got our concepts in place. But more importantly, our campaign with Ayushmann Khurrana as a brand ambassador now breaks in the next couple of weeks. So we are good to go for a very strong festive season. You're right; it'll go from Dussehra to Diwali all the way to the end of season sale and Christmas. So it's going to be an awesome 3 months for us. I think it's looking very positive now. Sales and footfalls both have increased to an extent where I think retailers are very positive now. That's the feedback that we're getting. The stocks are all piled up, so we are good to go. Retail is good to go for the next 3 months.
Do you want to give us a broad range of the kind of growth we can expect in the coming festive season compared to, say, last year?
I can't give you that number right now.
Okay. All right. Pushpa, thank you very much for joining in. So, malls is a very nice consumption, to assess the consumption play in India, both in Tier 1 metro cities and in Tier 2. So first, if you could just tell us how the landscape has changed, for DLF Retail. You all are present predominantly in the north, but how you've seen the landscape change in the last, 2 to 3 years, the way consumption is booming. And then if you could give us some picture on the near and now. What's the prep going into the festive season? What's the growth looking like, expectation?
Right. Good morning, everyone. So one thing I can tell you is that as far as the festive season is concerned, we are pretty bullish because we do think that, yes, we are predominantly present in the north, but north is also high consumption space, and it's always done well when it comes to festive season. We do think that, the trends, first quarter was a little muted, but after that, the trends have been positive. And yes, we do think that it's going to be a good festive season, attributing to 2 things. One is we ourselves have set up many new brands in our portfolio. Almost around 80 new brands have been there. So that creates new interest. The other aspect is that it's a very long wedding season that we are seeing. That also has a good play on shopping in malls. So these 2 elements will definitely propel a higher shopping intensity in our properties. And we are starting a shopping festival starting the first season. And I'm sure we're all geared.
Okay. Ms. Bector, I think there is some technical issue, so we'll just come back to you. Let me go across to Nishank. I just wanted to understand, is there a category of product which is seeing the most amount of demand? Does it change season-wise? Because at a point in time, we were talking about luxury goods doing really well. That was during COVID. Has that changed over years? What has the trend been like?
That's correct. It does keep on changing season to season. This time around, over the next 3 months, what you will see is electronics and gold being the focus. Fashion has been on the rise, but it's not picked up well enough, I would think. But we are really expecting gold and electronics to be the stars starting somewhere around October. And then, of course, the wedding season kicks in, which is when the ethnic wear will start to come in. So these are the 3 big categories that I think are going to make a big difference over the next couple of months.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the entry of global brands in India? What are the numbers looking like, and is that going to be a big factor driving growth?
It will. So we've got the Apple flagship, which opened at Select City Walk, which great numbers. I mean, it was phenomenal. You had lines from 8 o'clock onwards, from 7 o'clock onwards over there. So it's done phenomenally well. We've got Foot Locker that will be opening now in the next couple of weeks. We've got a couple of more brands opening in Delhi itself, and then a few more across the portfolio. So, the market's really bullish, and I think the retail community at large is now looking at the next few months to really kickstart of a really good festive season. I can't give you the numbers yet, obviously, but they are bullish, and I think the whole retail industry is looking forward to a really strong now Q3.
So, Nishank, tell us, what has the occupancy been like so far? Has there been any improvement, any new leases that you have entered into with retailers? And what's the pipeline? Because we are talking about the per capita consumption in India for malls being really low, and Nexus is primarily looking at that portfolio. What is the outlook going forward in terms of pipeline?
We are already around 95% plus, and our grade A malls are at 97% plus. So there are new leases being signed all the time, but we are already full. I mean, there's a list of people who are willing to walk into our malls, and we don't have space to give them. But the pipeline is strong, and we're already at 97%. So there's only that much play that we have. So.
So are you looking at expansion pan-India? What is the pipeline looking like there? Will it be by acquisitions? Will you be looking at ghost malls in in tier 3, tier 2 cities as well?
It's still a tier 2. It's still a tier 1 and tier 2 company. So we will continue to acquire there, and we've got a strong acquisition pipeline. In fact, we have signed around 3. Is it 3? Yeah. It is, yeah. So we've signed around 3 LOIs, and so we are looking at a few of them coming.
So in the next, say, 3 years, Nishank, if you had to assess where Nexus will be in terms of size, in terms of the opportunity, do you want to lay out the big picture for us?
Nexus will continue to be the #1 operator over the next 5 years, is what I can say. I can't give you a number as to how big we will be. We are already at 10 million. I'm sorry, we have signed 5, not 3. So we already will be up to 23 malls by the end of 2025. 5 years, I don't know. I can't even give you a number.
Okay. All right, Nishank, we get that. Ms. Bector is back with us. We were talking about the wedding season doing really well, the festive season doing really well. I wanted to understand what kind of product portfolio is doing really well in your malls. Is it ultra luxury, luxury? And what about occupancy levels? Where have they been like in Q2? And is there an improvement expected or pipeline expansion expected?
Yes. So the occupancy levels have now in the range of around 96 to 97%. They will, whatever fit outs had to happen is concluding now. So at a portfolio level will be 96 to 97. As far as the overall outlook of categories is concerned, of course, Uber Luxury has done well, but I would also say that the wedding shopping is across the board, premium shopping, premium malls also do really well. Winter merchandise, this year, we anticipate a long winter in North, and hence the winter merchandise the off-tick should be pretty good. So overall, I would say the category would be on fashion and beauty, which is anticipated to do rather well. So is the case with jewelry.
Okay. I just wanted to understand, how often do rental uptakes take place? How often do you revise them? And so far, what has been the rental uptake that we've seen in the industry so far for DLF itself? And when is the next one due?
Well, that's an usual role of business. So every 3 years, there is a rental uptick. But, and this is something that this particular year, we saw a lot of leases coming to an end, which is why we had an opportunity to get in newer brands. And the rental uptick has been rather good. We are clocking around 25% on an average as compared to the last rental. So it's been bucking our own estimates.
Okay, 25% higher. That's interesting. A very interesting discussion. And of course, we'll get to know more trends once the silent period is over, and also when we start getting in trends coming in from the festive season sales as well. Thank you so much, Nishank and Pushpa, for joining in today with your take on what's expected and what's been happening in the mall industry. We'll slip into a short break. When we